So I want to begin with this question. I sometimes raise this with classes. This is a license plate that was, I don't know if it's still popular, and there are also bumper stickers that do the same thing. So I don't know if you can see this. It says, Christians aren't perfect, just forgiven. So how do you think John Wesley would react to something like this? I mean, one possibility is that the perfection mentioned here is not the perfection Wesley's talking about. It's possible. They're thinking of an absolute perfection. But Wesley makes a distinction that the perfection he's talking about is perfect love, which affects our motives, our desires, our dispositions of the heart. He used the term holy tempers or affections. He's really thinking of what Paul is calling fruit of the Spirit. But love is something that governs our desires, our motivations, our dispositions. We become a loving person. That's what he's talking about. He says, though, that there are always what he calls involuntary transgressions, which means that because we're limited in knowledge, we make misjudgments, we make mistakes, that even if we're fully governed by love, which would be Christian perfection, we're still going to fall short of the perfect will of God. And so he makes that distinction. But I think it would be more than just saying correct their understanding of perfect. They have the English dictionary understanding, perhaps, which is based on a Latin word. Wesley's using the Greek understanding, which is what's in the New Testament. But more than correcting it, I think also the idea that Bishop Hutchinson raised, that they've got the order backwards. You're forgiven in order to. And he might also object to the just forgiven, because that might sound like, oh, well, you're just forgiven. I mean, no, forgiveness itself is a pretty big deal if you're being forgiven by God. I mean, that changes your relationship with God and enables you then to begin to grow in love and move toward this Christian perfection. So if this is your understanding, though, then what would evangelism, for someone that would think this way, what would evangelism look like? What would it be? Yeah. Wesley's problem with the Church of England, and there's been debates over how fair this is, but when he looked at his church, he mostly saw a lot of nominal Christians and people, and he knew that the promise of God was for something far more than that. And it isn't like you think, oh, well, you mean I got to do something else to go to heaven too? I mean, that there's yet another requirement. What Wesley wanted them to understand is that the new life in Christ is a gift. It's a gift. It's joyous. The transformation of your life, of relationships, of your motives and desires, it makes you the person you were always meant to be, the person you were created to be. So there's a sense of fulfillment. This is why he always links holiness and happiness together. By happiness, he doesn't mean a lot of what we often think of happiness as something is kind of fleeting. He means a kind of wholeness, a kind of sense that I'm finally the person I was always meant to be. We're meant to be people in God's image. We're meant to love. And he's convinced we can't be fully happy unless we're on that path.